So this was absolutely by far the most difficult table we built to date. This table had so many challenges, but we overcame them, and with hard work comes great reward. So starting off straight, first things first, designing of our slab. Normally when we buy our slabs from our suppliers countrywide, we basically know 95% exactly where we're going to cut our slab before we buy them. And there's a specific design we like in building tables. We normally don't like straight rivers. We like very rivers that's complicated and that's got a lot of twists and turns, and you know, that's the typical design we like. So getting my exact measurements and knowing exactly that my table is going to fit into my mold, I'm going to cut my table to size with my FESTOOL track saw. Now what I like about this track saw, it can cut about 85 millimeters thick. Now that's very thick. Normally the slabs we get can go up to 100 millimeters, but off the CNC they are around about 80 mil. So this track saw is really making it easy for us to cut all our slabs to size. Now moving on to the next step. This is a part that I agreed with my client. It's going to be a black resin we're going to use. So just the inside edges of my table, just to give it a slight burn. Just to add some effects to the depth of the table we want. Now remember, just sand after you burn your edges, just to get that black stuff off your wood. Now, inserting the slab into the mold. This is where you basically can see the design of your table, how it's going to look like at the end of your project. Now, this was also a very fun part of the project, because this is where you start sending pictures to your client and they are getting really excited about the build. And yes, it's a lot of fun building these tables. Now this is a new addition to our shop. This is our dust-free room, and what makes this nice is now I can pour epoxy during the course of the day and I can still work on the other side of that plastic sheet, still make dust, and the dust is not going into the epoxy room. Now starting to pour epoxy, this is where the fun starts, and this is where I want to sort some admin out. There's a few things I want to know from you. First things first, I was thinking the last few months a lot, and please leave me a comment down below. What would you guys think if I start building these tables and shipping them internationally? Would there be any market for that? Would you have any advice if I want to go into that market? You know, we are definitely looking at it, not only selling it locally, but definitely internationally. So leave me a comment down below. What do you think? I would really appreciate your input. And you know, I will leave my email address down below if you are by any chance interested in buying one of these tables or want to order one. We will definitely get back to you via email and we can take it from there. Second thing, the channel is really starting to pick up, and we would really like it if you would like this video, subscribe to our channel. It's honestly just going to help us grow and help us to produce future content. Last thing I want to mention is we are basically, well, I would say 90% finished with our website. And that basically means that the whole purpose for the website is I'm also currently busy with a data sheet going into intense detail on building these tables. From start to finish, every single little detail you need to know in building these tables. So the whole purpose of the website is to load those details on for you to download. And even some of our older projects and newer projects we're busy with, we will have drawings available for you to download, so you can also build them at your own house. That's done. Admin done. Awesome. What you see me doing here is we most of the time like to sand in between layers in between epoxy layers we cast. It's just basically going to help the next epoxy you're going to cast. Is just going to help the bond. It's going to basically give you a better bond at the end of the day. Now this was just a little bit of bubbles. Believe me, you're not going to see the marks. We've tried it, tested it. It's just those bubbles didn't pop, and we're just using a drill just to remove the bubbles. And you will see once you cast your epoxy over that, the bubbles will go away. Then starting the fun process of a epoxy table is the sanding part. Now I am starting off with my ROTEX sander, and I made a video recently on sanding tips on how we sand epoxy tables. I will leave a link now somewhere, top left or right of the screen, if you want to go and check it out. And after sanding with a ROTEX on an 80 grit sandpaper, I am straight moving to my ETS 5 FESTOOL sander. That's basically a finishing sander. It's got a much more stable shaft, and these finishing sanders are built for longer durations of sanding. So we are literally pushing these sanders, you know, if I have to calculate it, most probably like 5 hours each day. And you will feel the sander is not getting that hot. That's why we like the finishing sanders on our epoxy tables. Now cutting my table to its final size again. This is why I absolutely love FESTOOL track saw. It is going to give you an absolute clean cut. We recently put a new disc on our machine, and it's just giving us the smoothest cut we can ask for. And you will obviously see once you cut your slab, it will make some scuff marks on the side of the table. Now just using our ROTEX machine, you will see the ROTEX will remove those marks in an instant. And then moving to giving our table a small chamfer edge right around, and yet again FESTOOL router OF 1400 is going to give you a clean cut. We recently got this router, well, a few months ago, and I absolutely love it. And playing with it around, cutting our C-channels on the underside of our table, it's honestly just a dream machine, and it's super soft, and I absolutely love the machine. Now, starting with the sanding process. You already saw we started off with the ROTEX machine with an 80 grit sandpaper. Then we moved to the ETS 5 finishing sander with a 120 grit. Then moved to a 180 grit, 220 grit, 320 grit. And the last step and the absolute tip I want to give you is when you want to remove swirl marks from your table. FESTOOL has got this Scorch Pad. It's specifically designed, well, basically to remove your sanding marks from your table. And this is an absolute must. And this definitely is a very, very big game changer for us. And it's honestly just going to remove the swirl marks from your table. Now, new product we got from FESTOOL. It's a cleaning product. Now, you can definitely use a damp cloth. We used this before we found the FESTOOL cleaning product, and this is going to help you to remove all those white small little particle dust the sander makes. And well, we're obviously going to use this from now on, and it's going to help you remove most of the dust, well, basically all of the dust from your table. Now moving to the oiling part of our table, our trusted brand we prefer, and a brand we recently most probably going to convert to, is Odie's Oil. This is a definite trusted oil brand, and one I can definitely recommend. And we're starting off with our super duper oil. Now this is an oil that's going to penetrate a lot into the wood. We will leave it for about an hour, then we will come and put the second coat on. Now we recently started using our FESTOOL ETS 5 as well to apply the oil. Now you will feel we will obviously put the machine on a low RPM, like maybe setting number 3 or 2, and we will remove the vacuum pipe, and we will put the oil underneath the pad, and you will basically feel the machine will massage the oil into all the little grooves and stuff. And yes, we absolutely loved this new technique, and I would definitely recommend moving away from applying it with your hand. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I think once you discover this technique, you will definitely start using it. Now, I am going to leave you with the final product. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll definitely see you next week, and remember to support us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel. We have a lot of exciting content that's coming up. We've got about 8 tables coming up. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Cheers.